try not to swear this time. Want that monetization.
Yeah. Really? Oh, sorry.
That stinks as well.
That's vile. Oh, good. I'll give that a minute. Fucking hell. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to your matchday preview of Malmo versus Chelsea, the round of 32 in the Europa League, and obviously an 8 PM kickoff tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for watching. Obviously, you could be on your way to work enjoying this lovely bit of content, on your way to school even, or on your way back preparing for the match this evening. And welcome back to 100% Chelsea. Thank you for watching. Likes and dislikes welcome, as are comments. And obviously, we entertain that in this matchday preview because we want to generate a conversation. And that's mainly because Scott is in very good conversation when I'm sat next to him. Although you do have some fans now.
I do.
To be fair.
Also, you sound like David Attenborough at the start of that. Quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
How?
It was the bit when you were like, welcome with you're on your way to work or whatever it was. That was sounding very David Attenborough.
And here, in the depths of Malmo, we find ourselves a wild Marcus Alonso.
We don't, actually.
As you can see, he sat in the crowd, but failing to hide after his miserable drubbing on the left-hand side by... No, wait. No, I don't really want to talk about that 6-0 anymore. It's not fun, having suffered it several times in filming with United Stand, and when we did the Real Football Fan Show, and when we go to university, and when we walk in the street. It's really not fun being a fan channel YouTuber when your team's got absolutely annihilated. I'm sure Robbie can help us out with that. But yeah, I mean, let's move on. Let's forget about it.
You mentioned Marcus Alonso.
Yeah, I have. Marcus Alonso and Ruben Loftus-Cheek are both not travelled. Thoughts?
Loftus-Cheek, I'm concerned with both, but for different reasons. Loftus-Cheek, for those that don't know, if you haven't seen the press conference, go and check that out, or go and watch Lance's preview. He'll have notes on that. Yeah, Loftus-Cheek hasn't because he's got problems with his back, which is worrying in itself, because if that's the case, why did he play on against City when we were already in a terrible position? And Alonso hasn't gone because, in Sarri's words, he's resting, which, if that's the case, then he's almost certainly playing on Monday, which terrifies me. And if it's not, if it's because of the performance against City, which I feel like more like it is because other players that played in that game went, then I'm concerned with the fact that he's so open with Sarri, is so open in his criticism of certain things of certain players in certain situations, but not in other situations with other players. Like, he'll criticise Hazard, Kante, who else he criticised before? There's been others. Hudson-Odoi before said he's defender, but he's not willing to criticise other players. So either way, for me, it's a bit concerning.
I mean, I think it really depends on how he's trying to handle it. If it's true about unrest because the players are in a bad way, maybe he's just sitting there trying to say, right, I'm just trying to get back on side by not abusing them. Although, to be honest, after that 6-0, if he was just having words, if I was in his position, I'd have got a cigarette and probably try and burnt it out in one of their eyes, to be honest, or kicked a boot at them, or like the whole food counter. Safe to say, I'd be wasting food. A man of my stature, when I say stature, I mean size. Thanks, mate. Thanks. Mate. Don't need to finish the sentence. Right, this is my joke. Right, let me have it. You know what? You've ruined it. Move on. Right.
What are you saying?
I don't know, mate. It is currently 2:20 in the morning, and I can barely keep my eyes open. But obviously, we've spoken about those players. No Alonso obviously means that Emerson will start.
Yeah.
I think one thing we need to talk about, which I think, if it's true or not, is the talk of the players playing the academy
Yeah.  'Cause, yeah.
and losing.
Yeah. 'Cause, 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 yeah bits of it is true and bits of it aren't from what we've been able to piece together. So as far as we know, there was a game, but it wasn't. But it was between those that were unused or barely used against City. So the likes of Willian, Giroud, Emerson, Loftus-Cheek, or I think Loftus-Cheek. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, the likes of those players that either didn't start or barely played. And it ended as a draw, but I believe they played on and lost.
Well, no, it was a 3. It was a 3-3 draw, and it was like 40 minutes with 3 breaks. So it was from the Telegraph, which is normally quite trustworthy, but they've just changed their story.
What I will say is that even with the bits we know now, even though it was 3-3 and whatnot, it wasn't the main players. The fact that what is effectively our reserve team is going against our academy and wiping the floor is the wrong phrase, but at least putting in a good showing is worrying. And I mentioned this the other day. For me, right now, the club is in a situation where our academy is the most competent part of it.
Yeah,
it's the most complete part, and that's really, really worrying.
It is worrying. I think the other thing as well is, the fact that we have this amazing academy, but we'll just loan them out. What's going to happen here is the board are just going to try and save face, loan out as many of these players as possible, and cover up like the Soviets tried to cover up Chernobyl.
Had to get that in there, didn't you?
I had to get it in there. It's true though, isn't it? It's like how the Soviets tried to cover up Chernobyl, Hiroshima, whatever else happened, the bloody space projects. I don't know. 9/11 was by George Bush. Who knows? All right, but it's just going to be a case of there is going to be some element where the club's going to turn around and go, "Oh, our academy's doing very well." Yeah, look. Do you know the academy's doing very well?
Do I? I don't know.
Do you know it's been doing well for over a decade.
Has it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you know the academy's doing well?
How many back-to-back titles was it? Cups?
Quite a few. Do you know the academy's doing quite well?
Is it?
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
It is good.
It's good.
And
then we'll move on. They'll just be like, brilliant, tick in the box.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be quite telling, or later today, as it is. Christ. In terms of, I don't want to say this game, we can write off this game, because we can't, obviously. It's Malmo away. They're in Europe, so they must have done something right. But by the same token, I'd be interested to see tomorrow how Sarri's going to set his team out in terms of if any of those academy players or players the likes of Ampadu, Adoy, Cahill for the most part, Drinkwater, those players that are basically on the fringes at this point, come in for the sole purpose of what we've got is terrible at the minute, or not terrible, but isn't performing well.
Yeah.
We've got a game on Monday that for him is must win, almost. Because if that's another contender for the top 4, I know it's in the cup, but if that's another contender for top 4 we're losing against, all of a sudden that's another team we're like,
I get that, and I agree, but to play devil's advocate, who else is out there?
I'm not saying that he should be sacked. I'm saying that he's on the line.
I know you're saying it's on the line, but if they were to sack him and they get Zola in as an interim, which is probably most likely,
Zidane's been mentioned.
But is it really? Is he going to come to Chelsea?
I don't know, but
what's the point?
We've seen this in the past though. It's happened with Mourinho, where Mourinho got sacked. We brought in Grant, whose experience was, as far as I was aware, I'd say minimal at best.
Avram Grant's experience was...
I know he went on to manage other places afterwards, like West Ham, Cameroon.
All I know is he looked like a turtle.
Yeah, but this has happened before, where we'll have sacked someone, we'll bring someone in who, as far as I can tell at least, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're very wrong. He did have, well, actually, outside of Israel.
We were the first club that he managed outside of Israel. So that's no different in my eyes to Sarri, because Sarri only managed in Italy for the most part, and we were his first.
You're really comparing.
No, in terms of.
Are you sure about this?
In terms of, yes, he's got more experience, like at bigger clubs. However, you could say that because I think it was Maccabi Tel Aviv, wasn't it? Yeah,
Well,
that's along the same lines of Napoli in terms of that league. What I'm saying is in retrospect, not retrospect, in comparison to like the league they're in and whatnot. So Sarri had most of his experience in Italy.
Yeah.
Well, Grant may have had more years. It's still, when he came, we were the first club outside of Italy. If you get my drift.
But I think
outside
Italy, Italy's a top 5 league. All due respect to the Israeli league, mate. It's,
I know, but you get my kind of get my drift.
No, I really don't. I genuinely, you're confusing me here.
So take the leagues out. I understand Sarri was managing in a better league.
Yeah,
I understand that. I completely understand. I'm not saying that the Israeli league and the Italian league is the same. What I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of experience as a whole, just in football, that they didn't manage outside their own league. They were stuck in this league. We were the first club outside the leagues, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that my whole point about this was that for Avram Grant, very little experience outside his own league. We brought in someone who's pretty much inexperienced. Yes, he's managed Israel and he's managed the top teams in their league, but it's the Israeli league. He's got very little experience. I can see them doing a similar thing where they just sign anyone that has some level of experience. Is my drift. So
to be honest, we did sign Tal Ben Haim because of Avram Grant.
That's my whole point in this. You kind of took me off the tangent. My whole point is that for me, it's not ludicrous, but I don't think sacking Sarri right now is the smartest thing. However, I can see them doing that, and that's why I feel like Monday is a must-win game.
This is Chelsea Football Club, and that's the reality. I don't think today is a must-win. It is.
I think it is, but I don't think it's as bad as Monday.
No, it's not. But if you lose 1-0 to Malmo, I'll be sitting there going, "Look, this is."
It depends on the team. For me, it all depends on the team players. Because if he goes for a youthful team and we lose, then I'm not so.
I think
Then I'm not so worried because yes, that's a little bit damning on the youth, but everyone can see it's not our best 11 and it's only 1-0 against Malmo.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is. Look, realistically, we have to review all our options. We have to really take everything. I want Sarri to succeed. If I was in a position after losing 6-0 to City, if you lose 1-0 to Malmo, I'd be sitting there going, look, players don't play for you. Thank you very much. But on the flip of the coin, I want there to be a project manager. I think Sarri has the capability to be a project manager. However, I don't think he's the person to see it out.
No.
I think, for example, I think he could get the wheels in motion. I think that's what I think. Setting a philosophy up and really getting the wheels rolling will be good. But he's not a man for me. If you look at the images of clubs, I mean, Chelsea don't really have an identity. I think, let's be honest, because it's so chop and change. You don't know. Chelsea, I'd say their identity is quite aggressive, efficient, counter-attacking, defensive football.
Yeah.
But it works. You look at Mourinho, Conte. I think the biggest split would be Ancelotti. We played that. In my opinion, we played our best football under Carlo Ancelotti, and we scored a lot of goals and did the double doing it. But I think it's a case. The biggest thing here is he's trying to change a whole defensive side into an attacking setup with minimal support. I think it's a case of he really needs. The board needs to make it clear what their aims are, because if you look at Liverpool, you look at United, well maybe not United so much now, but you look at Liverpool, you look at Man City, you look at Spurs, there is a clear outline of Pochettino's a manager for the long term, this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 blah. There's an image. City, they were setting up 9 years before Pep turned up. Liverpool, Klopp is an embodiment of that club. You look at how he is.
Year on year, they've spent more money getting him the players that are going to work that system.
Exactly, and this is the thing. I think we had the project manager in Conte, but it went toxic and it didn't work out. But that's an issue. Player power. We've discussed this already. But I think it's kind of a case of, look, he has to win today. He has to.
Yeah.
It's again, it'd be a case of if he wins, it's expected. This is obviously on paper. This is Malmo. This is a side which we should be absolutely blitzing, irrespective of who's managing. I think Uwe Rosler, he proved in the UK, he's a very good manager.
Yep.
If he can get this team to operate, I mean, Östersson's beat Arsenal last season. You don't know what's going to happen, but we've just got to take it with a pinch of salt and really, really just make sure that we get a result here. We need something positive. We need something to build on. Man United is the big one. That's where we're going to look at it and go, right. Let's see what we can do with this. I don't think we'll play full strength. I mean, we spoke to Mark and Flex and Rant as well, and obviously you can see that preview in the coming days. And they were saying they don't think they're going to play full strength either.
Yeah.
Look, who knows? But I mean, let's just round it up. Let's go. What's your prediction? What's your lineup?
My prediction is 2-1 to us.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
My lineup's Caballero in goal.
Yep.
Zappacosta.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go a little bit with my heart and go Ampadu and Christensen.
Mhm.
And then Emerson left back.
I agree with that back four.
Midfield three, I think Kovacic at where Jorginho is meant to be.
Yeah.
Regista.
Yeah. If Loftus-Cheek's not going, who's the second choice? Barkley.
He can't play again.
He was awful against City. But
hang on. I think I know what he's going to do.
What?
Scratch that. I think it's going to be. I can see it being Cahill and Christensen at centre back and Ampadu in midfield.
Yeah.
And then Kovacic and Kante. But I'm thinking he might take Kante out, but I'll go with that thing because I can't think of anyone else to bring in.
Yeah.
And then Willian, Giroud and Hudson-Odoi. If Hudson-Odoi doesn't play, Christ alive.
If Hudson-Odoi doesn't play, this is the big thing. If we're looking to build a long-term project, we need to be using our best players. Hudson-Odoi is our best prospect, our best young player. Excuse me, but you know.
If Hudson-Odoi doesn't play, the blame is 100% on Sarri. Because the board has made it clear at this point that they trust him.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll have to see. But anyway, guys, I know this one's a lot shorter than usual. It's because it's the Europa League, because we don't really know what's going to happen. But yeah, listen, thank you for watching this match day preview of Malmo versus Chelsea, obviously an 8 PM kickoff. We're going to try and do a watch along. We're going to try and use the camera and link up to the laptop, but we don't know how we're going to get that to work. So we're going to give it a go. If it doesn't work, it'll be on the laptop camera. Me, Jordan, Scott, maybe Jordan. Lewis, unfortunately, has fever and isn't very well, so he won't be here. But yeah, you'll have Scott squeezed between two fat men on a sofa. It's like the beginning of a dodgy porno. But other than that, guys, listen, thank you very much for watching 100% Chelsea. All social media down in the description on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. Yeah, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Good. And Instagram. Obviously, make sure you follow Scott's socials. Make sure you follow my socials. All down below. Let's try and hit 200 likes on this. Leave your comments. Obviously, let's try and hit 50 of those. I want to see what you guys think about this game. And yeah, we'll see you later. Ta-ra.